Hello guys, Greg back with another video on the channel. It's all killer, no filler. So today I'm going to talk about 10 really good fragrances that don't get talked about very much, don't get a lot of love. So I'm just going to shine a little bit of light on each one. There's no order preference here. I'm just going to grab each bottle and tell you a little bit about each one. So the first fragrance is one that I haven't really heard talked about at all. This is a flanker to the original Mugler cologne. And this is called Mugler Cologne Fly Away. This was part of a release of 5 fragrances in the Mugler Cologne range in 2018, one of which was a rebranding or renaming of the original. So that original Mugler Cologne is now called Mugler Cologne Come Together. The other two good ones I would say is this one, Fly Away, and there's one called Run Free. There was 2 more that were added to the range in 2019, so there's 7 Mugler Colognes now. But this one's quite an interesting one. It's a citrus aromatic fragrance and it's centered around grapefruit and musk, but it's got a really interesting green cannabis note in here. It's a very refreshing, uplifting fragrance, but it's like an eau de cologne style fragrance, but it's got a bit more to it. But when you first spray this on, it's literally like you've squeezed grapefruit on yourself. It's a really authentic grapefruit smell, but almost straight away you get that green hempy note that sits right behind the grapefruit. And then the fragrance stays like that until it dries down and it becomes a white musk base. There's nothing spectacular about the fragrance, but it is just a very good sort of casual type of fragrance. And it's, you know, I'd say it's good, pretty much good for any occasion. It's got decent performance. It lasts a long time. It projects well. So that's a really good one. That is Mugler Cologne Fly Away. Next up, we've got one from the house of Givenchy, and this is a house I've barely mentioned on my channel at all, but this one is a beauty, and this is called Zelius. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. And I would describe Zelius as being a gentleman's scent. It's got that feeling of like a 1960s French men's perfume, but without having a dated feel to it. Starts out with a beautiful mix of lemon and mandarin. It's green, it's herbaceous, it's got some warm spice in here, and it dries down to a mossy cedar and vetiver base. You could see a well-dressed guy in his 50s or 60s wearing this one. Not to say younger people couldn't wear it, but I'd say anyone over 30 really probably wouldn't appeal to guys under the age of 30, I'd say. So that's Givenchy Zelius. And this next one is actually my most worn fragrance probably in the last 6 months. I absolutely love this stuff. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about it. The house is Le Gallion, and this one is called Whip. Now, Le Gallion, obviously translated, means galleon or sailing ship. And a galleon used to be apparently the symbol for the city of Paris in the 1950s. And this is a 2014 release, but it's a re-release from a fragrance that came out in 1953. And I'll just read what the brand wrote about this because it's quite interesting. So it says, 1953, Queen Elizabeth II was crowned queen at the age of 27, while New York celebrated the opening of the Guggenheim Museum and Audrey Hepburn starred in Roman Holiday. Le Gallion launched Whip, a fresh and young fragrance, especially refreshing in summer. Originally created for men, but women also grab hold of it quickly. So, but I've never smelled the original of this, but this version is great. It's got aspects of being a citrus aromatic, it's got aspects of being an aromatic fougere, and it's got aspects of being a chypre. And it's got that beautiful effervescent cedrat, lemony type of citrus at the top. There's lots of lavender in here, there's oak moss, there's patchouli. So if you like fragrances like Eau Sauvage by Dior, not Sauvage, but the original Eau Sauvage, Armani Puron, if you like Fiero by Zerjoff, then I think this is one that you should check out. I think you'd like this. Just rearrange these a bit. Right, so 4th fragrance, which one should we do? Let's grab this one. So this one, I think this is really underrated. This is from the house of Gucci. This is Gucci Puron. Not the original, this is the one that used to be called Gucci by Gucci Puron, which was a pretty stupid name. So it's been renamed Gucci Puron. And this one's quite short-lived on the skin, which is probably why it doesn't get a lot of talk. The actual scent itself is excellent. It's a woody tobacco and violet scent. It's very smooth, very warm, comforting. And I highly recommend this one. And you can pick it up for a really good price as well. So that's Givenchy Puron. So let's have a look. Yeah, the next one. So the co-perfumer on this one was Francis Kurkdjian, which is what actually drew me to this one originally. And it's from the house of Carvon, and it's called Carvon Low Intense. And this one's got a slight green Irish tweed feel to it. You wouldn't mistake them for being each other side by side, but there's definite similarities. This has got a very zingy, spicy citrus opening. There's a burst of lavender, which gives it an aromatic feel, and there's woods coming from cedar and a bit of spice from one of my favourite notes, ginger. Great bang for buck fragrance, smells superb, lasts a long time, projects well, and you can pick up a 50ml bottle of this for less than £30 in the UK. It's a very good quality fragrance for that price. So number 6 and 7, I put these together because they do have some distinct similarities, but one is way cheaper than the other one. The first one is from a house that I don't know that I've ever mentioned at all in 8 years on YouTube. But if you smelt this fragrance, well, I'll tell you what it is. It's Calvin Klein Amber Gold Euphoria Men. If you smelt this fragrance blindly and I gave you a list of houses that this could come from, Calvin Klein would be very, very near to the bottom of the list that you'd choose. This smells, it's a total departure from anything they've done before. It smells like, I don't exaggerate when I say it smells like it should be part of Tom Ford's private blend or another, you know, quality niche house. So the other one that I've put together with it is this one, Dolce & Gabbana Velvet Amber Sun. Now, 50ml, this is actually, I think, 150ml bottle, but a 50ml bottle of this Dolce & Gabbana is £200. This Calvin Klein Amber Gold Euphoria is discontinued, but you can still pick it up and you can get 100ml for about £30. So you can get, what, 600 or 700ml bottles of this for the price of a 50ml bottle of the Dolce & Gabbana. And honestly, the quality is comparable between them. You wouldn't say one is better than the other. So the price difference is absolutely crazy. But these are both predominantly amber fragrances. The Calvin Klein is more green. It's got some honey in here. The amber's a bit more on the mild side, and there's a bit of sweetness to the amber. Whereas the amber in the Dolce & Gabbana is darker. It's kind of smoky. It's more close to the amber that you get in Tom Ford's Amber Absolute. But both really good fragrances, and definitely worth checking them out. So next one up is from a house that I'm a big fan of. I've spoken about it quite a lot. It's a London-based house, Ormond Jane. And this one is called Zizan. And this is a citrus aromatic fragrance. It's zesty, it's green, woody. Key note in here is vetiver. It's got that really sophisticated feel that other fragrances from Ormond Jane that I love have also got. Ormond Man and Isfahan have got the same DNA as this one, and that DNA is a mix of bergamot, pink pepper, woods, and isoe super. This one's got a very pronounced lime note as well, which works very well with the vetiver. But it's definitely one to worth checking out. That's called Zizan. Sorry guys, the lighting here is not very good. I'm actually in my office and I've just noticed on the camera it's not very clear, but I'm sure it's okay. So, the penultimate fragrance on the list. This is from Michael Kors, and this is called Michael for Men. Now this is the 2001 release. There is a 2014 release which is called Michael Kors for Men. This is just Michael for Men. And they are very similar, and that one is much easier to find, so it's definitely still worth checking out if you like the sound of this one. But I really think this is a superb fragrance. It's an unusual mix of tobacco and plum. It's also got dried fruits and some spice in here. But there's actually a lot going on, but the key things that make this one superb are the tobacco and the plum and the way they're mixed. So that is Michael from Michael Kors. And the final fragrance, this is one I have mentioned quite a few times on the channel before. This is called Huitième Art Monsieur. Now this is an older bottle, but the brand's not called Huitième Art now. It's called Pierre Guillaume after the perfumer. So this is now called Pierre Guillaume Monsieur. This one just exudes class. This is a complete masterclass in how to do woods. You've got every type of woody facet that you could think of, all rolled into one fragrance. It's very resinous, it's mossy, and I've said before about this one, whilst it doesn't smell similar, it gives me the same feeling as Amouage Jubilation 25. It's similar in the way that it's put together and the feeling that it gives you when you wear it. It's really regal and classy. So definitely one that I'd recommend checking out. It's Pierre Guillaume Monsieur, or Thiem Art Monsieur if you get an older bottle. So there you go, guys. That's 10 untalked about fragrances. Thanks very much for watching. See you all soon with another video. Cheers.